A thread from Comrade Fudge. Joe Biden says he wants cops to have someone running at them with a knife to shoot them in the leg. Comrade Fudge responds, "This seems silly, but in reality it is outright nefarious. Like, we've already seen the results of this kind of policy, where law enforcement being threatened is so hamstrung they have to shoot people in the legs. It's called Israel. Israel, yep, a nation that is so completely hogtied by the global left that has an obsession with making sure they don't exist and have to live with knives to their throats, are forced to implement this exact kind of policy. And it didn't help at all. In Israel, when a terrorist, typically Palestinian, uses a knife to go on a stabbing spree, police officers are not allowed to stop them immediately. Instead, they have to confront and demand the attacker stop. Then, and only then, can they shoot. And even then, just the legs. This is what Biden and the wider left want. They want law enforcement neutered against actual dangerous criminals and only able to enforce inane bullshit laws against law-abiding citizens. Why, though? Why do they want law enforcement to be left unable to deal with societal dangers? Because the omnipresent threat of bodily harm, of being victimized by criminals, puts a constant stress on the brain, causes a constant state of fear. Stress and fear make you dumb. People conditioned by their environment in turn elect Cuomo and Newsom and de Blasio types of government. Empty suits, sometimes with nipple rings, that keep people afraid of their own neighborhoods while cashing in. Do you want to know why the left never talks about gang violence in cities? Why they never talk about drive-bys and gang shootings? Because they want people in those neighborhoods to remain afraid to let their kids go out and play, afraid to go to work. Bake into those neighborhoods an omnipresent fear of a completely pointless death from a stray bullet. Surround them with a decaying infrastructure and broken windows, and even complete imbeciles like the former Rat King Elijah Cummings seem palatable as politicians. The left hates successful enterprises for much the same reason. The left doesn't want Walmarts to succeed. They obviously have a gripe against Target. They hate free enterprise in general. Why? Because, as anyone who is anyone can tell you, the key to getting a job is to have a previous job. Having worked someplace tells your next employer that you are in fact employable. Having a resume with a work history says this person is a functional human being. People who live under the threat of dying to random drive-bys and who can't even go out and play in the streets when they're kids have trouble getting that initial job, which is why places like McDonald's and Target are so important. When you start with nothing, your best hope is to work a crappy minimum wage job so you could go to a better job and say, I showed up on time, stayed through my shift, didn't cause issues, and did my job. That's why the anarchists targeted as many big businesses as they could. The best hope that these neighborhoods have is to be literally carpet bombed with cheap stores who aren't having any payroll taxes and get sales tax cuts and thus can hire a bunch of people because they're stepping stones. The left fucking hates that. They hate it because someone who wakes up every day and drives to work and drives home from work, even if they hate their job, isn't afraid. Knowing what your schedule next week is does not cause fear. If you can get up and go to work, you're not afraid of getting mugged. That's why Biden wants cops to be forced to shoot attackers in the legs. Because the left wants you afraid of muggers. The police aren't allowed to stop. They want to break society. one kneecap at a time.